Okay, so we're going to make cold lentil salad the way that you often get it in France. Pretty simple. So here you have French green lentils. They're nice and little. See the color on those things? Also sometimes called Le Puy lentils. You can get those. You can get them at a lot of grocery stores these days. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to boil the lentils until they're cooked. And then we're going to let them cool, and then we're going to add other things to them. So I'm going to cook about, call it 3 cups. So if you're doing this at home, that's going to make you a lot of lentils. We like to cook these on a Sunday and have them in the refrigerator and be able to eat them at lunchtime at certain points during the week, and they keep beautifully, and they're in a vinaigrette, so they're really nice. So you put them in your pot, and then you put at least probably about 3 times as much water as you have lentils. So it doesn't have to be exact. Sometimes you're going to cook it down, and you're going to even need to add more. But I'd say about 3 times as much water as you have lentils. Okay, we're going to get our lentils cooking now. Here they are on the stove. I start them in cold water on about a medium heat, and it's good to salt them at the beginning. I'd say about a teaspoon or so, a little more than a teaspoon for that amount. That's good. You can season your vinaigrette later as well. And there you go, you let them cook. They're going to take probably about 20 minutes. It takes a bit of time for them to get up to temperature, then it takes them about 20 minutes or so to cook. And really the best way to check to see if they're cooked is to test them. So you'll try them, and we'll do that as we go along. And if they're done, you stop them. It's good to stop them a little bit early because they keep cooking as they cool down a little bit. So we'll try them in a little bit once they get going. Okay, the ingredients for our cold lentil salad are really simple. You need a red onion. This is a pretty large red onion I got here, so I'm going to use half of it, if that, probably less. And then flat Italian parsley that we'll talk about in a minute. You guys already know how to cut onions. You take the top end off, you cut the onion in half, you peel the onion. This is old hat for you guys, I know. Get the peel off. See how the peel on the red onion? There you go, comes right off. It's that beautiful purple color. Same deal, right? We're cutting toward the root end, but not all the way through the root. And with this, I like a really small dice because we're eating the onion raw, right? So you want to get it nice and little. So I'm going to cut half of this onion, and if we use half of it, that's great. And if we don't, if that's too much, then I'll use the rest in something else. So watch your fingers. So that's probably plenty for the amount of onion or the amount of lentils that we have. Cut that little bit up. So that's a pretty good size. I probably could have gone a little bit smaller, but that's going to hold us for the amount of lentils that we have. So let's put this in our bowl. Then we're going to move on to our parsley. Okay, flat Italian parsley. So I am very partial to Italian parsley. And you see how it looks here. This is the stuff I always have growing in my garden. You can buy curly parsley in the grocery store, or you can buy flat Italian. This has got much nicer flavor. So I've already washed this. There are 2 ways you can wash it. You can either take the whole bunches and put it in water and then plunge it in the water so all of the dirt comes off and goes to the bottom. That's what I did with this. Or you can pull the leaves off, put the leaves like this into the bowl of water, and then swish it around, and then all the dirt will fall to the bottom. It doesn't work to just take this and rinse it underneath the water, because the dirt is, a lot of the dirt will be on the bottom sides of the leaves and it'll just stay there. So I like doing the plunge way. It depends how much you're actually doing, but and basically you just pull the leaves off, so you get the little leaves. You don't want too much stem. The stem won't chop up, and it doesn't taste bad. There's nothing wrong with it, but it just isn't very pleasant in your mouth. So we take this, and I'm going to do just a little bit here to show you, and then I'll do the rest on the side. But I would say for our 2.5 or 3 cups of lentils, you're going to want a good bunch of the parsley. Here's about how much I have, and I'll probably use most of this, probably not all of it, maybe about 2/3 of that. And that's pretty much it. You got it washed, take it like that, and you chop it. And then this is an important one, right? So when you're cutting things like herbs and you want them little, I mean, that gives you a little start, but you want this really, you want this finely chopped. So just take your left hand, or the hand that you are don't hold your knife with, and put it on top of the blade. So then you're not going to be able to hurt yourself. But also then you can just chop like that and just keep moving the herbs into the middle. Sometimes you'll get some stubborn pieces, but there you go. So there's our parsley, and that's pretty good, right? So that'll be nice for our salad. So I'm going to do the rest of it now, and then I'm going to add it in with the onions. Okay, our lentils are looking pretty good here. Take a look. They're pretty well cooked. They get nice and soft. Just taste a couple of them and see if they're soft. You want them to have a little bit of firmness to them so they don't get really squishy. But you can see not all of the cooking liquid is gone, so I'll strain them. And then the best thing to do is just to let them sit and finish cooking and cool down like that. If you feel like you've overcooked them a little bit, or you're in a hurry, you can just rinse them in your strainer and that'll cool them off quickly. Okay, here we are with our lentils. We've got our parsley and our onions and our lentils. So I'm going to add the lentils. And I tasted them before, and they need a bit of salt and then definitely pepper. So as you remember, I had salted the water when we were cooking them, but add some salt anyway. They still need it. And then pepper, so grind a bunch of pepper in there. And then here's how I do the vinaigrette on these things. Red wine vinegar, just as basic as it gets. This is just kind of the typical kind that I use, just basic red wine vinegar and vegetable oil. And it's about 1 to 3, so 1 part vinegar to 3 parts oil is kind of your classic vinaigrette. With these, I don't even measure it. So this is, I'm going to put, it's probably going to be about, I'm going to say 3 tablespoons of vinegar and some oil. But I'll show you, because with these, you're sort of, I go a little light on the oil and a little heavy on the vinegar with these. But you want it to have quite a bit of dressing, because you're kind of, it's almost like you're marinating the lentils in the dressing, and the vinegar is really the tasty part. So with this, what I really like to do is just kind of do it by eye and start with a good amount of vinegar and a little bit of oil, and then taste it and see what you think. And then if you think it needs more salt or pepper or vinegar, those are super easy to add, right? So try it. And I would say, amazingly, it needs a little bit more salt. And I'm going to add a bit more vinegar. Not much. And just a teeny bit more oil. And there you go. Lentils. The other thing to keep in mind is watch the onions. So I put in quite a bit of onions there at the beginning, and it's good to, even if you've diced them up already, start with half of them and mix them in with your lentils, and then if you want more, or if you think it can take more, you can add more in. But it's, you know, if you have too many onions in there, it makes it a little bit much. So there you are, lentils.